Are we the product of evolution or creation? The answer is both. If you're here, you must have realized that neither religion nor science have the full picture. So I will assume that you don't need convincing that we are more than flesh and bones. But what is consciousness? The hard problem of science. From psychology, sociology, to psychiatry, quantum physics, robotics, and AI, the matter within the scientific field regarding consciousness is not settled. And it is the hard problem of science because science has so far left the spiritual element out of the equation. From the scientific point of view, our level of consciousness is measured in terms of intellectual development, of how intelligent you are. Intellect and consciousness are synonymous for material science. And since the intellect is assumed to be the function of the brain, science assumed that consciousness is created by the brain. And they base this assumption on brain lab tests of people with brain injuries who have lost their memories and functions, or on degenerative brain diseases such as Alzheimer's. And you can understand why they're so attached to the theories. They have proved that if you poke the brain in certain areas or cut parts of it, the person will lose their intellectual or physical functions. However, what they don't want to admit is that their assumptions have been challenged again and again by people in hospital settings on the operating table, brain dead, who have miraculously returned to life against all odds, who could describe to the medical team not only what happened during the procedure, what they said and did with vivid examples, but what happened on the corridor of that hospital, and so on. And not only that, they brought back memories of places they visited out of body, worlds outside our material realm, accessing knowledge that in their human life could not have access to. One such example is the neurosurgeon Eben Alexander. Another medical case of clinical death with medical proof is Anita Murjani, who died on a hospital bed riddled with cancer, who came back and within a short period of time, her lab test came clean, her cancer completely gone. Or people with anomalous brain development, missing a big part of the brain in charge of speech and language, who had a normal life against the odds. There were these abnormalities that led to the development of new medical fields such as neurocardiology and neurogastroenterology, or the inquiry into the heart and gut intelligence and the brain-gut and brain-heart functions. Neurons thought to exist only in the brain were discovering both the gut and the heart. Other puzzling medical cases challenging science's assumptions of consciousness being created by the brain were those of people who received heart transplants from anonymous donors whose behaviors have changed unexplainably to match those of the donor. To cite only one of the most recent scientific studies, I'll post the link and you can read the abstract and the paper yourself. Personality changes following heart transplantation, which have been reported for decades, include accounts of recipients acquiring the personality characteristics of their donor. 4 categories of personality changes are discussed in this article: changes in preferences, alterations in emotions and temperament, modifications of identity, and 4 memories from the donor's life. The acquisition of donor personality characteristics by recipients following heart transplantation is hypothesized to occur via the transfer of cellular memory, and 4 types of cellular memory are presented: epigenetic memory, DNA memory, RNA memory, and protein memory. Other possibilities, such as the transfer of memory via intracardiac neurological memory and energetic memory, are discussed as well. Implications for the future of heart transplantations are explored, including, listen to this one, the importance of re-examining our current definition of death. Now, this call comes from heart surgeons, not brain surgeons. And these are just few examples of people in medical settings challenging the medical science assumptions with hard evidence under their nose. What about past lives? The idea of reincarnation is as old as humankind, but in case you are a non-believer, you may be surprised to discover that for the past 60 years, a reputed US medical school has dedicated a whole department to collecting evidence from all over the world of children with memories of past human lives. The department was funded by the psychiatrist and professor in medicine Dr. Ian Stevenson, so not a new ager, and is now led by Dr. Jim Tucker, a child psychiatrist and professor of psychiatry and neurobehavioral sciences at Virginia School of Medicine. They focused only on young children up to 7 and only in past human lives because those could be put to the test of cross-examination with the evidence. You can read about these cases in his books or go on YouTube and search Dr. Jim Tucker and you'll see the cases. The evidence of consciousness transcending time and space, it's out there and has been with us since the beginning of time. From spiritual revelations found in all cultures to our more common déjà vu experiences, premonitions, to memories of past lives, inherited personalities from hard donors, all the way to secret military projects involving sci-spies such as Ingo Swann, the co-creator of remote viewing used by the American government during the Cold War with Russia in the Stargate project. And many of you who might have had some strange experiences under the pressure of everyday challenges might have just buried these otherworldly experiences to avoid going insane. Is what I did. Until my near-death experience blew this whole material paradigm out of the water. You'll find more about it in a Conversation Self-book. But for the purpose of this course, to be able to conceptualize the different developmental stages of human awareness, we must start by understanding how awareness is gained.